so much for being here today, everybody. I really, really appreciate it. We are talking today about top tips to think about and really consider before you start that business of yours. Now, even if you've already started the business, don't worry. These are still great things to know. You can always fill in holes that might be in your business. So don't worry like, oh my God, now I'm already behind because I already started. No. You're totally fine wherever you are in your business. And we're just going to talk about great things to do to make sure that your business runs the way you want to, and to make sure that you are as efficient and as effective as possible in your business. So I'm Bonnie Frank, and I'm a business coach and consultant. I built my business on Blab and Periscope. So before Blab and Periscope, I literally did not have a business, and now I have a thriving business. So go live streaming. So we'll talk about that. And we have Robyn MacKillop and Janet. Robyn, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Dr. Robyn MacKillop, and I help business owners get themselves more visibility online. And the way I do that is I work with them on their social media, their online courses, very lucrative, video, blogging, website.
Awesome.
Okay, Janet.
Janet, my website's janetejohnson.com. I work with some large brands, helping them with their social media, conversion. I also have a show that helps with smaller brands that teaches lots about social media and also just how to grow your business. So that's Business Growth Time. That's the name of our podcast show. And I also have a few programs where people could just learn and do it themselves.
Cool.
Great. So I'm going to ask, why don't we go ahead and put our websites in so that they're in there if people want to scroll back up and refer back to them. Janet, you want to go ahead and do that? And then Robyn, do that as well. And then while you guys are doing that, I will talk a little bit how this came to be. So Keri Jaehnig, and this is really Keri Jaehnig's Blab. But none of the three of us are Keri Jaehnig, but she will be here soon. So she has a wonderful Facebook group, and she is with Idea Girl Media, and she herself is an incredible idea woman, and she knows all about social media as well. And so in her Facebook group, there were several different questions about starting a business, and she said, why don't we do a Blab? And then so here we all are doing a Blab about starting a business. So that's how this all came about. And so Robyn, you work with people who are starting their businesses, but you have a very interesting niche. Do you want to talk about that? Your age group.
Yes. I actually work with women between 45 and 65 who already have businesses but are ready to move up to that next level. And that next level includes getting online. And it's not enough to say, well, I am online. I have a Facebook page. That's not really being online. This is a strategic approach to getting yourself known, because our markets are much larger than what we can get locally. And so face-to-face networking is not the only way to build our businesses. We need to be out there online in that ginormous phone book that is the internet, and we need to be able to be found, be seen, and be known.
I agree.
Exactly. And I love that you have that age group, because that particular age group, I think, is sort of tossed aside. I think that people don't think that people in that age group are actually viable, clients, and that they actually have businesses or might be interested in starting a business. So I love that. The minute I read that, I was like, I love Robyn. I'm just going to follow her because I love her, because that's a great niche. So, and Janet, how did you get started with what you're doing?
Well, I've told you my story. It's a very, very long story.
Janet, we have a different audience here.
I'm just joking with you.
Sorry, Janet.
No, actually, I have an elementary education degree, like Bonnie. Bonnie and I, that's why we get along so well. We have that same background. You do too? Oh, that's
High
awesome.
School. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We have the teaching background. So, but after I graduated, I had a hard time finding a job. So I ended up running into ad in the newspaper back in the day. This shows my age. Yes, I'm in that category, but I don't admit to it, your category. But and I answered an ad in the newspaper, and it ended up being a network marketing company, and I had no idea what I was even walking myself into. 5 years later, I did that company, traveled the United States, and went to so many trainings from this gentleman named Bill Gould. He changed my world of thinking, and my whole world of thinking turned to entrepreneur. I'm not involved in network marketing anymore, but I help a lot of people and that kind of thing. So it just changed my mindset. So then years later, I ended up running a daycare in my basement, believe it or not. And during that time, I dabbled on eBay. And so that kind of got me going. Well, first off, I like shopping, so I shopped on eBay. Then I went and turned it into an actual business with selling on eBay. So that's how it started, and then turned it to social media. Started helping my husband's business, and it worked there. So it's a test and learn. You know, that is my favorite saying right now is test and learn. You got to try things and see what works and what doesn't work. eBay stopped working. It worked great for a while, but it became very competitive. So you have to change gears at times. And so I changed gears.
Wonderful. And and like Janet said, what is that noise? Is that somebody's?
It is mine. It's my husband. Sorry. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
He's printing. He's upstairs working. We both are entrepreneurs. So sorry.
Well, I don't know why he needs to work while you're on Blab.
Like, stop printing.
I find that highly irritating. Janet's right. I am a former teacher and college professor turned entrepreneur, and live streaming is what got me found. Blabbing and periscoping every day to the world is what got me known, and where I was really able to find people to help to start and grow businesses online themselves. So that has been wonderful. And live streaming is just one of the ways that that you can build a business today. But I do have to say, guys, live video is not going anywhere. So if you are a toe dipper, dip a little further, because you will be very, very glad you did. Facebook Live is only going to get easier and more robust. YouTube Connect, which is YouTube's live streaming mechanism, that is coming down. No, it hasn't been released yet. That's coming down the pike. And now, of course, we have Blab, and we have Periscope, and there's Fire Talk, and there's My Eye, and there's and there's God knows what else. So there's only going to be more platforms and more opportunities available to everybody. And the faster you are able to understand and use these platforms, and they are pretty easy to understand and use, honestly, the better off you will be, because you will be miles ahead of everyone else. So there you go. And you can talk to any of us about that. Yes, the landscape is the dominion of the entrepreneur. That is true.
And it gives me, when you talk about that, it gives me, our subject matter is before you start a business. The one thing is we are all guilty of it, is we work a lot. And when you just said that, you just talked about all these live streams and all these different things. Like, one of the things I had to do over the recent year was back off of doing some of that. Mm-hmm. So I want people that are start a business. Hey, Keri made it. I'll just finish my point, let Keri go. But my point is, I think people, even though you're starting a business, you got to remember the work-life balance.
Yes.
And I think that is still important to keep in place. Because I know for me, I've had to back off on some things to keep that.
Right. And Janet has young kids. I have a 17 and 20-year-old. Keri has children. Robyn, I don't know if you have kids, but everybody, regardless of whether or not they have children, does or should have a life outside of being an entrepreneur. And so, yeah, that is something that, I mean, you know, I see what Janet does. I know she's very involved with her family. I mean, that is something that we are unwilling to give up. That is something that we are unwilling. That's not going to be budging. And so we all do our work around that, around our family, which is part of the beauty of being an entrepreneur. Keri, you look so wonderful with that backdrop.
You all look fabulous as well.
She made it.
I feel so embarrassed and horrible, but I'm going to let that roll off, and we'll start. Now,
this is live streaming.
It's technology.
Happen live. Right.
It is. Yeah, go ahead. Well, we've all introduced ourselves. Why don't you introduce yourself, and then you probably have some specific questions, I would assume.
I do. I'm not sure what you all covered, so if someone can just tell me after, I'll give my little intro, and then you can just tell me the topics you covered so that I don't, be redundant. Sure. And then also, I see that we're recording. Is that because I pressed record or because someone else did? Okay. Okay, so we'll link up after Bonnie and discuss.
We'll all get it because we're all hosts, so we'll all be emailed the recording.
Okay, so am I still a host?
Yes.
You know what? You are, but I'm not.
I just redid that, Janet.
Thank you. Okay.
Somehow that fell out, but now you are.
Perfect.
Okay, so we're all good. I still have G on Janet, but
no,
if we're good, we're good. Okay, okay, so yeah, enough of this silly stuff. I am Keri Jaehnig. I'm technically the reason you're here today.
Technically, I like the word.
I am the founder and CMO of Idea Girl Media here in Wilmington, Ohio, which is almost dead center between Columbus and Cincinnati. I'm originally from Michigan, and I help business brands, nonprofits, and public figures achieve social media success. And we do that through customized online marketing campaigns and training. And I have an inner circle who are dear to me, and like an insider's club, call it. And they're dear to me, and we go through business and social media tips, and that's like a monthly subscription. And we just deep dive into topics that are relevant for entrepreneurs. So I have a lot of respect for Bonnie and Janet and Robyn, who are on my screen as well. And they're a little bit more savvy with the video than I am. I'm kind of hurdling I'll do other things more so than video for myself. Now, clients, it's another story, but here we are. I'm glad we're here. Okay, let's dive in, and someone tell me what you covered.
Well, we basically we introduced ourselves. We told a little bit of the background, a little bit of kind of how we got to where we are. And that's really it. So we haven't covered particular topics yet. We were waiting for you.
Okay, I was afraid to put my other tabs up on my screen, so I'll try and go from memory as much as possible. But mainly, I know that we, in working with clients, we get these questions from people who want to start their business, or they're new in business, and they're like, oh, I have this idea, is it a good idea to launch? And I just want to give some relativity to topics and help people understand what is realistic, what is not, what is a solid path, what is not, and what are the myths that you hear and that are probably, untypical or atypical in business today. It's probably not very typical that you make a video and put it on YouTube with no network or following, and it goes viral and millions of people see it and you make tons of money.
Chewbacca girl? Oh, sorry.
Except her. I'm thinking, okay, how can I make that work for myself? But I think it's an amazing story, and it's an awesome thing. And we wouldn't be there without Facebook Live, which is a recent development.
Yeah.
And there's always a new tool. I mean,
Yes.
I think it's essential. I'll just start out. I know that there are maybe some people that I said, hey, come join us today just to see how it goes. There are some new tools, and it's like you have to constantly be training and up on the new tools, or you'll be left behind. So, and that's one thing. She just hopped on live and had this Chewbacca mask, and here, there she is. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, okay. So, mainly, I wanted to talk about when you're starting your business, what is a solid course? Can you start your business and be profitable in 6 months, or do you have to maybe take it step by step? And is there a plan? So, whoever feels most comfortable, I'm going to let you take that wheel. Maybe Janet or Bonnie or Robyn. You seem really excited, so.
I absolutely agree. You have to have a plan, but I also agree that with that plan, you can be making good money within 6 months. And
do you think so?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. And you really need to be strategic about, and Bonnie will speak to this, who your ideal client is. You need to know who you are targeting. And I know I've watched Bonnie's scopes a couple of times where she says, I don't like it when people say target. And I agree so much, because you're not trying to hit them in the bullseye. You're looking for the people who resonate with you and you can serve the best. And that is your ideal market. And so when you're figuring out who your ideal market is, you can build a plan about how to best reach them. Where are they hanging out? What do they do? Because you need to be where they are. Otherwise, you're going to be throwing spaghetti at the wall, and maybe some will stick, but most of it will just slide right down and make a big mess, and you'll be frustrated.
Mm-hmm. So not every idea works right away?
Exactly. And that's the thing that I had to learn, because like Janet and Bonnie and I were talking before, we're all teachers. And it seemed a lot easier because you had a plan every day for what your students were going to learn. You knew what you were going to present. You knew what you were going to do. Your strategies were in place. When you're an entrepreneur, it's not so clear cut. And that's why it's so important to plan, but be flexible, because that plan may need to change within a day. And you have to be okay with that. And you have to be willing to let yourself be vulnerable and be flexible and go with the flow, because everything is a test. There's no perfect way. What works for me may not work for somebody else, but another person, yeah, they can take it and they can tweak it, and it's brilliant. So be nice to yourself, because it's not easy. And just know, when you decide to go into business for you and your family and you want to serve other people, it's hard. It's work. It's not just going to land in your lap. But I tell you, the rewards are worth it.
Mm-hmm. Very, very true. I was just on Snapchat with somebody who was talking about a man, a very young man, clearly in his 20s, who had had an app and had been working for 7 straight years. 7 years had people invest in this startup. 7 years. He tried to get it launched through the App Store with Apple. Steve Jobs himself got on the phone and said, no, thank you. So that was an interesting bad thing to happen. And finally, after 7 years, he sold the company for millions of dollars. But guys, that is 7 years, I guarantee you, working 7 days a week and never, ever, ever giving up. That is 7 years of a lot of losses and a couple of wins that, yes, ended up in one big, fat, huge win. But most of us don't see that because most of us give up. And that is just the God's honest truth. The difference between success and failure is giving up. The people who succeed are not necessarily the smartest people in the room. You've all probably seen that. You have all probably, realized that in different capacities. It's not always the smartest, the prettiest, the fastest, the most interesting. It is simply somebody who absolutely refused to give up. Here I'm an example. So I tried for 14 months straight on 10 different social media platforms, and I was absolutely invisible, totally invisible. Some bloggers knew me, but basically I was totally invisible. I get on Periscope 6 days later. I land my first client from Periscope, and then my business absolutely skyrocketed. Ironically, I now write for iBlog Magazine. When I was a full-time blogger, iBlog Magazine didn't want me. Now, all of a sudden that I occasionally write a blog post, now I'm writing a monthly column for them. And where did they find me? On Blab. So loads and loads of things will open up to you if you find the right place for you. Those other 10 platforms, they weren't for me, but because I'm a former teacher and I can never shut up, live streaming seemed to be really in my wheelhouse. So it worked for me, but not everything will. And so you cannot give up. So Keri, yeah, not everything works right away.
Gina, do you have a few words to say about that as well?
You know, my biggest thing is I think when people start a business is they overthink. You know, I am a total believer in a strategy and a plan, but I'm also the biggest believer in just do it. I have had some crazy things that I've done. Keri's been involved in, like a puppet that still haunts me today. But,
oh, that was good.
But you know what? And it didn't work. So, and it makes sense why it didn't work, because it was the podcast. But you know what? I've tried a lot of things, and some things haven't worked and some things have. And, you know, I saw a great question that said, when do you know if it's time to give up? Sometimes you don't know. You know, we almost gave up, great language, gave up on our podcast. I mean, we were like, okay, what is this doing? Is it going to go anywhere? I had it for a year. I changed the format. I mean, it's been 2 years now. And within the last 2 months, we actually restarted it. Terry and I took a break and decided if we were going to continue it or not. Within the last 2 months, it went from here to here. And I don't know, you know, so we could have given up, but, you know, you don't know. You don't know when it's time to give up, for sure. But if something's absolutely not working, you might want to tweak it. So it is a test and learn type. That's the big thing to remember. Test and learn. And I know Nike owns it, but just do it.
Just do it.
Do it.
Yep. If I could add to that, you know, entrepreneurs are very creative minded. There's a special mindset for entrepreneurs, and they tend to be so involved in putting out a piece of art or something just so awesome that they forget to ship. And by ship, I mean just do it or just put it out. And so I would encourage people to think about that. You know, and I've been guilty of that. Like, I want it to be so perfect before it goes out that sometimes it doesn't. Or it's like, you know, I have a blog article in draft that probably by the time I put it out, it won't really mean anything. But I'm going to do it. But it's, you know, I've been so mind of the presentation, you know. Maybe that comes from years of dancing and being a musician. I don't know. But yeah, you just have to do it. You have to have a plan. But I think, you know, I think also, I remember Bonnie. I met Bonnie, and you know, I saw what she was doing and whatever, and I remember it was like, from 1 week she was here, and then the next week she was there. I mean, she just skyrocketed. So it is about the platform and finding the right place for you, and keep trying, keep experimenting. And you know, who was it that said, if the doorknob doesn't open easily, it's not your door. Go find a different one. Open a different door, and keep opening them and opening them until you find the one that works. And, you know, we all have those phases too. We'll have a big mile of success, and then we'll hit kind of a little hurdle that we have to, you know, jump over and find the right formula to get to, and then we're on again. Janet, I might say, and this is really, I think this is true of all businesses, of everyone. I know that you've been attending a lot of live, in-person, in real life events. And I think that might be key to why your podcast jumped, why it went from here to here.
Yeah,
it's very true. You know, I was kind of a hermit for a while, and I didn't really go out and meet people. I mean, I met new people online.
Kind of a hermit, but yeah.
Yeah, but that was like when I actually left my house and got out of here, it was like, oh yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And things started to happen again. So I think it's very important to realize that people are important, and sometimes bouncing an idea off of someone is so helpful. And so that mentoring and that training, continuing to open up your mind, is also helpful as well. So anybody want to add? We had some. Go ahead.
I'm writing down the questions to make sure that we don't forget them.
Oh, awesome.
To make sure that we get to them.
A teacher. Okay.
I was not a teacher, but I worked in educational services. So
Oh, great.
It's all the same, Keri. We're all nuts, is what it is. I gotta say, that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
so
but
have them.
Yeah, but I want to just address something that BCXOG said. Okay, so first of all, guys, the days of having all of this cryptic information as your handle are so long gone. Please make sure that your handles make sense about who you are and what you do. If nothing else, just have your name. So because I'll click on that. Your name's not technology pioneer. Your name's not even in your bio. So I cannot address you with a name. I apologize. But so he or she, I don't know, brought up the point about minority entrepreneurs not having access to capital or support. And I guess don't fit in that category, although I'm a woman. A woman is a woman a minority? I don't know.
Woman? Is that nice?
I'm an old woman. There you go.
We are. I said all of us. We're in that 45 to 60. Oh, wait, I'm 39 still. But anyway.
Yes, always, always. So, anyway, so I just want to put out there, I had no money. I started my business with $0, and I do mean $0. I did not go into debt to start my business. I had no money, and I started with no money. I also had no support. I had no mentors. I had no coaches. I didn't even have one cheerleader. Instead, I had a whole bunch of people who were constantly, and I do mean again and again and again, telling me to stop this ridiculousness, stop it, go back to teaching. You're a teacher, that's what you do, or at least go sell clothes again. Stop what you're doing. It's not bringing in any money. So I also never had anybody encouraging me. So I have to say, I don't care what your situation is, you can do it. And I also have to say the reason why I take a hard line on this is because I'm proof positive of the fact that it can work. So I don't care if you're short. I'm also short. I don't care if you're a little heavy on the bottom. Also that. I don't care if you have no money. Also, I didn't do that. I don't care if you have no mentors, if you can't afford a coach, if you can't do this, if you can't do that. I don't want to hear your sob story because I can top it times 10 and it still worked. That's because I made it work. So stop with the excuses and make it work. And this show will help you do exactly that.
I love that because we have so much technology available and so many avenues to pursue that there really isn't a reason why you can't find something to work for you. And honestly, if your set of people aren't being supportive, go find a new set of people.
Yep.
Go find where you can have encouragement because the negative mindset's not healthy and it won't help you in your real life, let alone your business life. So if this isn't working, find another path.
Yes. And the thing about social media platforms, it's in the first word. Social media is social. Get yourself out there. Get to know people. You can build your own support system through the people you meet and connect with. You don't have to pay, and seriously, I'm a business coach, and I'm telling you, you don't have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to someone to get you through the door of starting your business. You just have to do it. Just like Bonnie and Janet and Keri have said, you just have to pull the trigger and go. And never listen to the naysayers. There's always going to be someone who wants to pull you right back down to their level.
Yep.
You have a plan, you have a dream, you have a plan, go do it.
You know, and I'm going to add to that. One of the things that I still have, and I'm sure all three of you will have too, is we are our worst enemy. We have it in our own head. So like for instance, I was talking about this with Terry Bean, my partner on the show. We talk about how like we don't market ourselves hard enough. We don't like I have a program. I don't like my sales page of it. So guess what I don't do? I don't market my own program that I built that I think is really, really good, but I don't like the sales page. So I'm putting, so it's just like I'm putting it in my own head, whereas other people would probably look at the sales page and say, it's totally fine, Yeah. So we have our own battle we have to overcome too.
Yes,
absolutely.
And I want to bring something up because this is this I think is a good example of somebody who is starting a business and somebody gave them advice and now they don't know what to do with it. So one of my clients she's in Tanzania and she's starting a business, and she said, somebody told me that it's really good to one by one in person thank everybody who likes your business page. Now, I don't know who told her that because I don't have time in my day to do that, and I'm certainly not going to spend money to go pay somebody to do that. I actually don't think that's worth the time or the money to do. But I told her if she wants to outsource it, she can do that, because she's like, there's thousands of people and I don't have time. And I'm thinking, thousands of people, that's going to cost, like, I don't even understand that. So I think everything we're talking about and everything we'll continue to talk about, and I think everything that entrepreneurs continue to face time and time again, is return on investment. And sometimes the investment is not money. Sometimes the investment is just time. Is it worth the return on your investment of time to individually like everybody who thank everybody who likes your Facebook business page? I don't know who in the world would have given her that advice. I find that advice to be very odd and ridiculous. So I don't do that. If you've thanked my business page, I'll just say thank you. I mean, if you've liked my business page, thanks, but I'm not going to send you a little note. And nobody has done that for me either. And I just don't find that necessary. I would take that exact same amount of time to write a blog post and then put it all over the place, to make a YouTube video, to work on creating a new program. Or if you want to spend some money, then spend some money to outsource somebody to make incredible graphics for your video, for your blog post, for that new program of yours. So you need to think about what you're doing with your time and your money, and what sort of return on your investment are you getting? Is it worth it?
Can I add just something quickly? I did, when my page was just beginning, and this was years ago now, Facebook was a different place, I did thank people for liking my page, but I kind of had some sort of connection to them. Facebook actually dinged me for being a spammer. So you have to be careful with that kind of stuff. You have to go, okay, you have to be realistic about your time, but you also have to go, okay, what's going to happen from this? So yeah, I think that video idea is awesome. And put out a video of thanks every once in a while, and then resyndicate it in your stream, to say, hey, thanks for being here. I appreciate you.
Yeah. And I think, Keri, you do great groups. You've had the Likeable Local, that's another company. Sorry. I'm losing it on. You've had that group. You say
They're not on this tab.
But you say the name of it, Likeable Hour. What is it called?
Well, there's Likeable League, and there we have the Likeable Hour once a month, which is coming up June 1st.
Got it. Okay, so Likeable League is the name of your group, but you've done a fantastic job with that. And I think that would be more of what Bonnie's talking about, where you're really talking one-on-one. So maybe you want to expand on that, Keri, with bringing that page, liking everything, thanking everybody, to a group instead.
I've gone, that group has kind of evolved a few times, and we started out as actually an online event, and we went into this group, and we've been exchanging thoughts and pleasantries ever since. And sometimes we'll do some activities, but I used to thank every single person for coming in the group. And it's like, at some point it was like, do I get sleep, or do I thank people for being there? And so I try and find other ways of thanking them, like being more personal with their birthdays, or, inviting them to Likeable Hour and actually talking with them face to face once a month. Or, you just have to, sometimes you have to give up this to do that, so be friendly to evolving as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, perfect.
I want to jump into Facebook pages, because I think this is important. I think there's a lot of people want to be on Facebook, and they think that's the only place to be. And then they also think that Facebook page is going to be the key to their success with their social media and online, where some people are even investing in the time and the place for the Facebook page only, and not a website. So if the three of you could maybe add some insight there for folks.
I'll start. Yeah. I mean, I think they need a page. I think Facebook is where people are. So I 100% believe starting a business, any business out there needs a page. How much they do with it depends, but it is not like it used to be when we first started on Facebook. You need to pay to play. And that's how you get to your niche audience. So you need to pay to play, but you need a page. I'll let you guys expand on that.
I agree. You need a page because the majority of people are on Facebook and are starting to dip their toes into the other social media sites. But Facebook seems to be a foundational social media platform. So be there first, figure out who and where your ideal clients are, and move out from there. And again, like Janet was talking about with Keri's group, I'm a member of Keri's, is it the Inner Circle Likeable League?
Well, it's the Likeable League Insiders Club.
Insiders Club. I'm a member of that. And there is so much camaraderie, support, communication within that group that, you know, you need to have your business page. But if you are starting to get some clients and some people who are raving fans, start a group, because they get more time with you. It's harder to engage on your page than it is in a group. It's much easier to engage with people in a group. And it's a group of choice. So you've got people who are serious about whatever your overreaching topic is. And so it's a really great place to connect and build those connections, communicate, get some support. I love it. I love being in Keri's group.
Thank you. I wanted to, Bonnie, go ahead. You had a few words, and then I want to add some things.
Okay. Keri, look at my last comment. So, or this question before, and then my comment. So, okay. Number one, I always tell people you don't have to have a website to start a business. And I fully believe that. You have to have a landing page, you have to have somewhere to send them, and you have to have an opt-in to capture their email address, and then some sort of autoresponder or CRM set up so that you can send them emails. So you don't have to have a website to start with. And all the websites that I had until very recently were free, by the way. So, I mean, I'm talking, I really did not have any money. So that's something to think about. And this is what I think of the Facebook page. So I had thousands and thousands of people who had liked my Facebook page when I was a full-time blogger. Then I rebranded under my own name, and now I think I'm just about to hit 500 because, you know, I'm starting from scratch. So do the Facebook likes for me translate into dollars? Absolutely not. But do I ask people to like my page? Do I put valuable content on my page? Do I use Facebook Live and broadcast on Facebook Live through my page? Yes, absolutely. And I mean, you know what? This is all rented territory, guys, and our rent payment is $0. So if you want to utilize Facebook and you want to build up your likes and you want to build up people's eyeballs on your stuff, Janet's right. You do have to pay to play. Those are the rules. You can either do it or not do it. But if you're not doing it, you will have less than 5% of your people seeing your stuff. That's just the way it is. So, but even with the paying to play, if you work, I don't do ads. If you work with somebody who does ads like Janet, or maybe Keri, do you do ads?
Occasionally.
I so don't do ads. Occasionally. Okay. So if you work with somebody who knows about ads, then you are literally helping yourself tons in the long run, because you're not throwing your money in the toilet. You're using your money very, very strategically and very wisely. And like Janet said, you know, you've got to test things and you've got to try things, and then you've got to redo and pivot and then try again and test it again and do your A/B testing. So can, all of this pay to play get expensive? Yeah, if you're doing it willy-nilly, half cocked, and you're not doing it with a strategy. Of course.
Nice wording.
Sorry.
Sorry, I was hanging out with Terry lately. So
I could have said something else. I thought that was better. Anyway, sorry. Sorry. I live with 2 sons and a husband. So what?
There you go. No. And after that, those 500 fans, we look at, okay, there's only 4%. I don't know. I've heard the recent stat was 2% on Facebook. So, people that don't have a page are like, well, then why even bother? It scares them. Why bother? But in reality, if you do the tactics to retarget and you have that product out there, you can retarget as long as that's a good audience that truly don't purchase the likes, don't do anything like that. Just build a real audience. Then you can retarget the audience, the fans. You can retarget your email list on Facebook, and you can retarget the people that have been to your website. So
Right. And those are the people who have already shown interest in who you are and what you're about. So that is who you want to retarget. And this also, I wanted to throw this in. This is a perfect place to remind you, please, please, please do not ask everybody on the planet to like your page, because everybody on the planet is not in your target audience. Right. You want people who are in your target audience, who really are interested in who you are and what you're about, and ideally what you have to sell. You want those people to be liking your page. You don't want just anybody to be liking your page.
Yes, and don't ask all your friends to like your page. They're not going to buy your products, services.
Yeah, exactly. Or like your entire friends list. Don't be sending them invitations like every other week. That's just so annoying. But if I could add, I want to add some insight here. I think it is possible to get by without a website. I think it is possible to bootstrap and go forward. However, the reason that we have social media is to push people, if you will, to the place that we own online. And so the social platforms are rented real estate. We control nothing about them. And I think that in the long run, it's a great plan to have some place that you own. So those website starter kits, if you will, like Weebly, Wix, WordPress.com, that's okay for a little while, but it doesn't really give you a headquarters, a place that you own, that you can publish your content and establish credibility in your niche, where you can send people. Now, if there are ways to do it where you don't have to own a huge website and whatever, but if you're going to blog at all, I recommend that you blog on your website and own your content and have the social, that's your social hub. That's the reason you're online, and you drive people back to that content, that blog, that website, services page, or your landing page for your service or your program that you had this month. I don't know that I endorse the idea of only having a Facebook page or only having a social media presence. I think you have to own something online, or in the long run, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, I think we just lose out on staying in the game.
I would agree.
So if I can offer that to people.
Yeah, that is really good information. Very good point.
Yeah, back to your website. Yeah. So good deal, Bonnie. Okay. Can we talk about Facebook reviews for just a moment? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
We can do whatever you want. This is your time.
Let's have I bet Robbie won't say that. I was going to say, let's get the wine and no.
I'm with you, you know me.
It's 1 o'clock somewhere.
Really long stuff.
I have to say, I'm really enjoying this a lot more than I know that Google Hangouts are popular, but I don't love Google Plus. Sorry, but I think this is fun.
Yes.
So, okay. Blasts are a blast.
Yeah. So, Facebook reviews. I had someone contact me not that long ago and say, hey, we had a really great Facebook page going, and now we've gotten a bad review. Someone's just really torn up our review page and posted things that might not even be related to our business. What can we do about that? So I'm going to pop this back over to you guys and see what you have to say.
I guess I'll start because I hummed and hawed. It's something I have dealt with. I work with a client right now that just got a bad review. And, the only thing you can really do is respond. You can't delete them. So it's just like Google. I mean, it's like all the different places, Yelp, wherever. You can respond on them. And then I guess my second piece of advice is make sure you respond. Try to make them happy. If possible, they can remove it if you can make them happy again somehow. But if that doesn't happen, then I would go out and go after other clients and get some good reviews to kind of bury that down.
Right.
Okay. What are some other techniques?
Well, some people are just going to be haters. I mean, some people are just going to have a bad day 365 days of the year. And if they happen to have anything to do with your business, then that is, a bad thing for you. So sometimes that happens. But sometimes, and I think this is more often than people realize, honestly, sometimes people are having a bad day. And sometimes your business got into their bad day somehow. And now your business is a bad business. And when you can reach out to people and really reach out, don't reach out from, I want to bury this, I want to bury this, I want to bury this. Reach out from, you know what? They might have stuff going on in their life that I have no idea about, and really reach out and find out, what was the experience? What was the customer service? Was there any customer service, or was it just bad customer service? What happened? How can you make it better? But also get to know them as a human being, because that person is a human being. And we need to think of that person as a person and not necessarily a bad review. Now, I understand that all of this is a lot easier said than done, especially when somewhere back there you're thinking, bury it, bury it, bury it. I totally get that. But a lot of people, it seems today more than ever, have so much going on in any given day in their lives that if your business just happened to come up on one of their horrible days, it's just because it was one of their horrible days and might have nothing to do with your business. And so it might be a lot easier to make that go away if you address it from that viewpoint.
Okay. What if they've shared it out or it's gone a little bit viral? What do we do then?
That's never happened to me.
Yeah,
so.
There's not a whole lot you can do chasing things around the internet. One of the things I was going to say is if you do get a bad review, do not respond to it emotionally. Take a step back, think about what it's actually saying. Because if you respond emotionally, all of a sudden you've got a big hullabaloo going on that you did not need. And now more people are going to join in because everybody likes a good ruckus.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so don't create one. And if it's a legitimate complaint, I like following Bonnie's style. Reach out to the person. You don't even have to respond directly to the post. See if you can reach out to them privately and find out if something really did happen. And by doing that, you are, like Bonnie said, you are validating as a human being, one. You are offering them your attention, which is probably what they were looking for in the first place. And you'll be in a much better position to ask them to remove it or rewrite it or something.
Right. Well, and share out. I think that we have some tools now too. Hey, let's get some Facebook Live good activity going on that page to say, okay,
positive.
That might be great, but here's this too, and pay attention to this. And then, at the same time, you've got someone maybe reaching out, like you said, talking to them, working through. And, when you handle something with good customer service, people will be compelled to go, you know what, wow, I really overstepped and I'm going to restate, or, and then they'll be maybe compelled to talk to their friends and say, oh, they worked it out. They really did a great job. And sometimes you end up in a better position because of connections and social than you were to begin with. So sometimes you can be a rising star or a shining star for the way you handle it. So it's all in how you handle it. And right, whoever said, I think, Janet, it was you, don't delete the comments on there, and don't respond at all. It's just, you have to respond. You have to be honest, and the more genuine and authentic you are, the better. Unless you're just, just hop off Facebook.
Well, and there are some people who just seem to complain about everything. Yeah. And so if you end up to be one of the things that they're complaining about, nobody's going to listen to them because they complain about everything.
Right.
Yeah. So it's going to seem to be a bigger deal at the moment than it really is.
Yeah. And I was just looking at my client's page, and I don't need to name them, but they have 4.6 star review, and every single one of them were 5 stars, 21 reviews. So it's just that there's that one in there that was a long time ago. So as long as you can get some more of the positive, it will overcome the negative.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think I've heard that they want to see the authentic. So, if you have every single one of your reviews is 5 stars, there's don't you ever have a bad day? And it looks kind of false. So, I think it's okay to have 4.6 stars. I think that's great. Actually, I would believe more than every single one of the reviews is phrased the same and it's 5 stars,
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I agree.
Okay. It's kind of like the clock is rolling. Do we have questions we haven't approached? Bonnie, you wrote all the questions down.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you know if starting your own business really is for you? How can you tell? That was one of the questions.
Wow. Anyone want to jump in before me?
I knew I had to go into business for myself because I couldn't stand going to work every day. And it wasn't about the students, it was about everything else within our public education system, including my administrators. And I couldn't work for anybody anymore. To me, I was not using my intelligence and my creativity and all the stuff that I can do. It wasn't being utilized. I was really being boxed in, and I don't like to be boxed in. I don't think most people do. And I realized if I don't step out on my own, I am going to be stuck in this system for 20 more years, and I'm going to be so unhappy. I probably will die the day after I retire. And I don't want that. I want to live to be 106. So I need to be doing for me what makes sense for me, because what I want to do is make a good life for myself. I want to help other people. I want to help other people make their lives better. So there's a mission behind why I said, you know what, I have to do this, because I am the only one in control. And I can either make it or break it. And so I'm going to do it. And it was scary. Those of you who are starting out, it is scary as all get out. And I would never tell you, if you have a job now, to quit your job and start in your business. I would say scale back on your job and start your business. Keep some money coming in just so you've got the safety net.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. I got out of education for the I could not nod anymore, Robyn.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, yeah, that's totally. And I started when I was 49. So not an optimal time, right? Probably not a year of somebody's existence that people would say, oh yeah, that's the time where you want to start a business, right? No. And I didn't have any of those other things that people have a lot of times when they start a business. So, but it was, for me, I had no other choice. Is having your own business for everybody? No, I don't think there's anything on the planet that's for everybody.
Yeah. So
you need to find what makes you happy. And I've always said, whatever makes you happy, that's what you should do. And then it's your job to find a way to get paid to do it.
Exactly.
So you can be happy working. You can be happy your whole darn life. There doesn't have to be any grind. There should never be a grind to your work week.
Yeah, and I love what I do. I mean, I absolutely do, but there have been times, there are times, and I think we all go through it, where as entrepreneurs, it is tougher. We have to, I was just entering my QuickBooks. The thing I hate the most in life is entering my QuickBooks. But, there's so many pieces, like doing our taxes is more work than an average job. So in reality, we sometimes say, it'd be just easier to get a job. Have you ever thought that? Maybe it's just easier, just get a job.
There are days, yes.
So we all go through it.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's more fun. You have more freedom.
Yes.
When I want to go on a field trip with my kid, I can take the day and go on a field trip with my kid and no worries,
Yeah.
And it's all about that work-life balance. Otherwise, you're not gonna continue, and you're not gonna want to do it. So you got to have that balance too.
Yeah. I think, we have a perfect opportunity now to, there is an encouragement for entrepreneurship, but we also, maybe it's that you want to have a real job and do something on the side. You can do that and see how it works out, and then ebb and flow as it works for you. Or maybe, you are a teacher during the year and you do this thing during the summer, and that's your business. So I think there's a formula for everyone out there. Yeah. I have work jobs. I've done sales. I've sold clothes too, Bunny. I've been in the hotel industry. I've led tours for Smithsonian. I've done a wild circle of things, but for most of my life, I've been self-employed. And now, when I do find myself where I'm actually working in like a building for someone, I feel boxed. I've got to have some path where it's my call,
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to wear a suit. I can wear sweats. Or I really do miss navy blue suits, though. I loved wearing navy blue suits.
You look good in navy blue.
But yeah, maybe I want to wear sweats today, and that's okay. I mean, you can't.
I know. Maybe we don't. Yeah, you're exactly right. You know,
I almost wore a hoodie, and I thought, oh no.
Well, nobody knows what we have on the bottom here, guys.
Yeah. I always have workout clothes. I need workout clothes more than anything because it's just like that's pretty much all I wear. But yeah, that's funny. I know it's funny because I'm on camera most of the day today, and I told Terry, I said, I'm not wearing any makeup tomorrow, and no cameras for me. You know, so it's just kind of but we have that freedom where, you know, I mean, I think about, you know, just waking up in the morning, and I'm a fairly early riser, but, you know, we'd have to be up driving, you know, in traffic to downtown or wherever in the dark, battling that. And maybe we do it once in a while, but you know what? I try to make all my meetings around where I'm not going to hit that traffic. Yeah. So there is just so much benefit to being an entrepreneur, but I just think every business is different and everybody needs to, you know, find their area that they're most comfortable with.
And never isolate yourself. You cannot do it. I mean, you've heard the term solopreneur. That just means you run your own business. That doesn't mean you work in isolation, because most people need some kind of connection. And so if you don't want to get out of your house, you can't at least connect with other human beings online.
That's a really, really good idea. And, you know, I went to Lead Pages converted last year, and we actually started a mastermind of people that I met. And so we do that once a month with a group of people that are very like-minded, you know, so you do it online or you could do it offline. You know, there's different types of masterminds, and I know Bonnie does a lot with masterminds, but having coaches, mastermind groups, people like you, because you know what, I have those friends. I have one, she'll never see this anyway, but she's a waitress, you know, and you know, it's hard to conversate in this manner with somebody that's going to be a waitress, you know, so we all have the friends that are never going to be an entrepreneur. They need to work for somebody, and I get that. But we need to connect with people that are like-minded like us.
But what a great person to talk to about customer service.
Oh yeah.
That person knows customer service better than anybody.
She sure does. Oh yeah. And she has quite the stories, but you know.
Yeah, I bet. Well, and Keri, I want you to put your Facebook group in, the one that anyone can join, put that in again, please. And so one of the things that I was going to say, to go off of what Robyn said about, you know, getting in a group or getting connections is, you know, you can join Facebook groups. Again, they're totally free. So there's Keri's, there's mine. You can put Janet, put in yours. Put in your
Janet, and also Robyn, don't you have one too?
I have a video group. I haven't opened a general one yet. I'm going to. It's on my to-do list.
Okay.
I will add mine too.
There's tons of places for support, but go ahead, Bonnie.
Exactly, right. Well, and once again, it's all free. See, that's the thing. There is tons of support, just like Keri said, out there, and it's all free. But you need to take the step forward to say, I need help. I'm asking for help. And that is really, really hard to do. And, you know, Robyn, for a long time, I thought solopreneur meant I have to do it all on my own. How stupid, right? But I did. I thought that's what it meant. And I thought, how in the world do these people do? Well, they don't. They're not doing everything all themselves. Some people don't write any of the posts that you see. Some people don't write any of the blog posts. Some people don't even write their own darn books. I mean, let's face it. So
that's disheartening, but that's true.
You know what? I actually admit I have a VA, and I'm writing a book right now. But some of it I'm speaking and they're typing it.
Oh, that is smart. So that is a good use of your time. That is very smart.
You know, it's something that obviously I have to do my own research, and there's certain things that I'm going to have to type out myself, but anything that can be done by somebody else where it's going to save me time, you know, that's one tip I will give. And, you know, when you're new and starting a business, you may be afraid to spend money, but sometimes money is better spent by getting help in areas that you don't know.
sometimes you can be doing one thing that's going to earn you more, and someone else can be doing something that's just kind of a drag on your time, and that just it's maximizing your efforts and optimizing your business and your time and what you do. Yeah, I have someone do graphics for me. I have someone help me with accounting. There are other things that I'll pull in here and there, but yeah, I don't. There are just things that I need to free my time up not to do this so that I can do that. I
completely agree. Yep,
and for some people that might be someone cleans your house, which, you know, if you're not cleaning your house, you're working. What's that?
I
wish. Okay. So yeah, we have some great comments. Thanks, you guys. What do we have questions that weren't answered yet, Bonnie?
Well, there's one last question. I think we sort of answered it, but maybe we should address it, you know, by itself. Is how do you reach more clients? What if, or I'm assuming this means really more potential clients. So how do you reach more people?
Facebook ads. Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, Janet, please go ahead.
That's the first one. That's the first thought that comes to mind. What's the fastest way to build your business and reach more people is Facebook ads. My favorite. Okay. Go ahead, Keri.
And you mentioned before the like audiences. I think that's a key when you're using Facebook ads, especially when you're beginning or smaller key. But I really like the idea of collaboration. That's kind of how the Likeable League, you know, first started. Was this big collaborative activity where people helped each other get known, and then, you know, too, if you find something in common with someone else, you're like, you know, they are in a complementary niche. We can work together to build both of us. I really like that idea, and it's a new way to attract people, but also meet new people and gain energy. It's kind of motivation. It's kind of a win-win-win. It's a circle of wins when you collaborate. So I would say that.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. And I will tell you, I've turned down opportunities to collaborate, and I think it's probably those were the mistakes I made. So,
you know what's interesting though, Keri, we can go way back. You turned down mine when we first met. Do you remember?
I did, and preparing for this meeting, I thought of it, and I thought,
Isn't that funny? But here's the thing. Here's the side of it. It was one of those things I tested and I failed. So you didn't turn down the wrong thing because it did not work out for me. Like it was, it's hilarious. But I mean, it was something. That's how Keri and we met through something else. But I asked her to collaborate with a project on, and I had 15 people involved or something like that, and no big deal at all that she turned. You know, but it is interesting because sometimes you don't have the feeling that it's the right thing. You know, and you do need to turn things down if you're not feeling right about it. My biggest thing right now, my number one thing I'm trying to do is say no.
Well, you have to know when to say no. That's for sure.
It's hard. Mm-hmm.
I should tell you the story, Janet, sometime. Maybe we can have a little Skype or something about that. But yeah, I think, I probably made the wrong choice there. So
but I think learning when to say no, first of all, the fact that no is an option, it's not a bad thing.
Yes,
when to say no. And like I was just telling somebody, I did a Periscope profile review yesterday. I do them every once in a while. And for free on my website. Anyway, so I was doing the review and somebody had hashtag something. I'm not going to say what it is. And I said, so this means you're part of this group, which I totally, I get. And so you're saying, hey, everybody who's in this group, I'm in this group too, and maybe they'll want to watch you. But the hashtag was somebody's name who was in charge of the group. And I said, this hashtag is helping him. I said, I don't know how much this hashtag is helping you. And you need to think about that, right? So if I asked everybody to put hashtag Bonnie's awesome on all of their, which don't do that, but on all of your scopes, what in the world is that going to do for you? That's going to do nothing for you. And to be honest, that hashtag is going to do nothing for me either. So thank you. Yes, thank you very much. So, and it's too long of a hashtag anyway. Oh, I'm sure it's going to be viral. Yeah. But like a couple of people have asked me to do JV partnerships, joint venture partnerships. And I would read through they would pitch me and I'd read through the information, and literally there was zero ROI for me. Everything was for them. And I'm like, who in their right mind is going to say yes to something like this? And it's just, you really need to think about that. Doing a partnership for the sake of doing a partnership is not a good idea. It's better that you don't do any JV partnerships than just jump into them just to say, I'm collaborating with somebody. Because maybe that somebody's going to be getting all the benefit and you're not going to be getting any. And now you've spent time and energy, maybe money, I don't know, where you could have spent on your own business where you could have actually been making money.
Yeah, it's all, you have to weigh it out and actually put it on paper. I try and put it on paper and do the pros and the cons and the win and the win. And
good, yeah, good idea. That's a very good idea. Well, good. Well, I hope we covered everything on what's one final thing. I would say, like, maybe people want to go around and just say one final thing on a big tip to starting a business. Major, Robyn?
When you're ready to start a business, do it. Ask somebody who has already started a business, whatever you need, find it and do it. It's all about the action. If it doesn't work out the first week, do not despair. It will work out. And it's usually at that point when you say, I give up. I'm quitting. I'm not doing this. I'm going to go get a job. Do you know how hard it is to find a job? And all the work that goes into it, put that into your business and you will boom, right up the hill. And we're not all in it to make $1 million a year.
Speak for yourself.
Most of us are in it. I'll take the million. I will take the million. But I think people need to realize that if you can make a good living working for yourself, that's huge. Yep. That gets you away from the bosses and the organizations that want to tell you how to sit, think, type, whatever. And it's just, there's a freedom in being an entrepreneur. And that's one of my core values is freedom and education. And I'm learning every day. I'm learning more now than I ever learned in all the schooling I took. And probably more than I learned even teaching, because the kids taught me a lot. I didn't learn so much from my bosses, but I'm learning all the time now, and I'm meeting great people. I met Molly just recently. I did a Periscope challenge, and I just felt this connection. So get out there and don't be afraid, and just know, take action. Follow the people who are doing what you like. Follow people who resonate with you. Just do it. And I know it's Nike, but too bad, Nike.
But that's so right. I mean, I don't know what they could come up with that's better, because that is just so good. So yeah, and I definitely say yes to everything that Robyn just said, and I will never, ever, ever tell anybody. You might hear this sometimes. Oh, well, if you don't just drop everything and quit your business and to start your new business, then you're not really all in. No, then you're stupid if that's what you're doing, because you need a safety net. You're not going to be making money probably in the first few days, maybe in the first few months. Some people don't make money in the first few years. So you need a safety net. Yes, you should have money stored away, or it is absolutely possible, and people are doing this all the time. Work full time and build up your business on the side. That is totally doable, and there is no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with that. To me, that's much smarter than dropping everything and quitting your business and saying, okay, now I'm all in. Now you're all in. You've got nothing. That's not the way to be all in. You can be all in and be smart about it too. And ask for help. All of us are here. All of us right here are here for your help. You just need to ask.
Awesome. Janet.
That's very good. Well, I'm going to give a plug for my friend, since you just mentioned this, Adam Dintz. He's writing a book called Hopeful to Hired. speaking exactly what you're.
Nice.
He's writing it right now, so it's going to be launched soon. But his name's Adam.
Will you put it in
so if you don't follow
will
him,
you put it in the
great.
chat so we know how to spell it?
Yes, I will. I'll actually just give you the Facebook page. That's the easiest thing. So I'm going to make it quick, short, to the point, because I do have to go to the bathroom before. Some point you gotta go, but failure. Don't be afraid to fail. I just talked about the situation where I failed. I mean, you know, there's things that I can name so many pieces of my business that have failed. You know, I probably had more that failed than succeeded, but you know what? I just did it, tried it, tested it, didn't work, moved on, or fixed it and changed it a different way, and then it succeeded. So don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah, actually, entrepreneurs will have to fail 3.8 times more than people who are in the workplace. And it's just part of being an entrepreneur. So yeah, don't be afraid of that. I would say that, you know, find your sources of training, find your sources of mentorship, find your sources of social, find a place where you own, and don't be afraid to collaborate. I think that's kind of the keys that I would say. And I wanted to just say to my friends, thank you for inducting me into into Blab. Please put your links where people can follow you. I've just hopped on and getting a grip on what Snapchat, and you know I'm wrecking it and doing all the wrong things first. I'm failing at that very quickly and then moving on. But I'm at Idea Girl Media at most places, and then if I have a dual account, then it'll say it in the profile. But yeah, wherever there is somewhere to be, I'm Idea Girl Media, and then I'll sometimes have a personal account. So find me wherever. I would love to be more in touch with those that were here. And thanks everybody for attending. My gosh, all those beautiful faces above. It's been like charging to just meet and see and hear from you all. So thank you. Thank you to the three of you, Bonnie, Robyn, and Janet, for being here. One last thing, anybody, any questions, anything?
No,
it was fun.
great.
I appreciate you all being here.
Hopefully we inspired somebody today, you know, to take action.
Yeah, so I did see a couple people. I got notifications from Facebook that we have some new people in Likeable League, so I think all of you are there, and we'll connect there. I think I also got some notifications for the other groups too, for Bonnie and Janet. So yay! Yeah. So looking forward to seeing you there. And thanks so much. And Bonnie, do I hit pause or do you?
I think anybody can.
Yeah, anybody can. You can go ahead, hit it.
I'll hit it.